This week's video is a little bit different because last weekend I took part in the UCI gravel event at Llyn Brenig in North Wales. The course was 111 kilometres long with 2,000 metres of climbing. You might think, hey Julie, that's not that far, but the weather was hell and it became a course of survival. Looking at this footage, it looks as though there was hardly anybody there at all, but my category was the last to go. So there you go. Having started next to the reservoir, you can see then we got to a bit of road and eventually made our way onto this sort of single track bit on the top of a bit of moorland. I really enjoyed that. Then later on we moved into the forest on lots and lots of different gravel tracks. Some of them really quite rough, others a bit easier, and later on some of them got really quite muddy. "2,000 metres of climbing took its toll without a doubt, and it certainly was a course designed for hill climbers. As the weather deteriorated, some of the tracks did become much more of a challenge. But I'll be honest with you, I really quite revel in muddy, difficult conditions. Being in a small category, one of the things that happened was as we progressed through the race, moved away through the back end of the men's groups, we became very, very isolated. And for me, it almost became a time trial, really. Of 6 hours totally on my own. Feed stations were good as we went round, and you can see these two guys here, I kept sort of catching up with them, and I'll be honest with you, I think they'd just thrown the towel in, and like lots of people, by the end of the first lap, which they're about to approach now, many people actually gave up because the rain and the wind just made it too hard. But Phelan, in a normal style, kept going. And the other problem is, at that point, I didn't actually know how many other women were behind me were still going. So I just sort of had to dig in, really. So as you can see now, this is on my second lap. The weather absolutely went totally pear-shaped. And after a while I remember even stopping to put my waterproof on because it became a stage of, is it actually worth getting hypothermia for? And it definitely wasn't, especially as I couldn't see how far the woman ahead was. I certainly couldn't see anybody behind me, so it was a case of just keeping your head together and just chewing away at it. So here I am, approaching sort of the 6 hour mark, nobody in sight, nobody behind me. And in retrospect, it would have been better for us, rather than to do 2 laps as the vet women, just to do 1, and then it would have kept us all together and it would have been really, really exciting racing, because it just became a mind game. And as you can see, it was blowing an absolute gale then, and yeah, that was very, very difficult, and it became a case of just looking after yourself. I did finish second, which was amazing, really. Would I do something like that again? Well, I've got to be totally honest with you, I really, really quite like fast racing with other people around me, and as I say, it became a bit of a procession, sort of mind games, just hanging in there for grim death. Next video I'll be back to normal. I hope you've enjoyed it. Difficult conditions, we just had to do the best we could. See you soon, take care.